folks, welcome to the Prepared Homestead. This is Travis. Thank you all for stopping by to watch. Well, how secure is your data? I mean, is that something that you think about on a regular basis? Probably some of you do, but I'd say that a lot of us may not be thinking about that as often as we should. And you probably should be, because today the White House has issued a statement of urgency that people need to get serious about cybersecurity, that there is an imminent threat to the cyber infrastructure of this country. And they've issued a statement urging businesses to up their defenses very quickly. And we want to talk about that today and about a few other things and related to, obviously, the big global crisis and the potential threat for World War III, because it just seems like, and this is what I've been saying for a while, that it's just, we're inching closer to this threat every day. So we want to talk about that here in just a minute. Before I get started, I just want to say thank you for watching. I don't say that often enough. If you watch on a regular basis and enjoy it, please consider subscribing to the channel so that you can stay updated on my current information that I put out for you. Also, since we're talking about cybersecurity, one of the better things that you as an individual can do to protect your own private cyber information is through a good VPN service. And that's why I use Viper VPN. It's one of the world's best. It is ranked quite high, number 1 to number 2 on most surveys. And you can find information about that by clicking the link below. They offer a really good service for a really low price. That's what all of our devices here, my wife and my phone, our computer, is all protected with Viper VPN, and it's something that it just runs in the background. For those of you that don't even know what it is, and I'll admit I'm no cybersecurity expert. I just know that it does work, and you can there's ways that you can test to see. And what it does is it basically masks your presence online. It makes it very, very difficult for someone to find you and hack into your data by using a VPN service. So check that link out below in the description if you're interested in a good product like that. So this morning, just a few hours ago actually, it was kind of in the news that Apple was down. And you all know who Apple is, the great little smartphones that so many people love, or at least half of the people love, and the other half love the Androids. But that's, who cares about that? Apple services pretty much across the board was down. Maybe not 100%, but they were showing a lot of services down globally, not just domestically. I've not seen anything come out and say that this was an actual attack, a denial of service attack. But it's very possible that it has been. There's, also Amazon Web Services was down for quite a while, which is Amazon's big hosting service. They host a lot of major websites across the world. It's definitely one of the biggest ones. And along with that, this morning, the White House issued a statement that businesses need to get serious, and they need to do it immediately. That this is an urgent warning for businesses to up their cybersecurity, because they believe, and the statement that the White House issued is that there is increasing intelligence that a threat from Russia, a cybersecurity threat, cyber attack threat, is imminent. Now, we can sit here all day and debate whether this is actually a real threat from Russia or China, or if this is an inside false flag attack. At this point, to me, it doesn't matter, because regardless of either one of those options, if it happens, we know that it's going to escalate matters, and not just escalate the whole potential World War III threat, but it's also going to potentially harm us personally. It could easily harm our pocketbook. Depending on what type of attack it could be to, the banking system. It could make it difficult for you to access your money. It could make you potentially lose money. I mean, there's definitely the potential for an attack to where it could just zero out your bank accounts. It could be attack on our communication systems. It could be an attack on our grid. The electric grid could go down because of an attack like this. And then it could just attack various websites that maybe for some it might be an annoyance, but it could certainly cause havoc in our economy if this persists. And depending on the level of this attack, it could certainly be a major problem. And it could be looked at as something that we could escalate, whether it be done from an outside attack or one of our own used to propel us into an escalation. So the point is that right now, I think everyone should take this serious. I not because I'm, jumping up in panic because it's what the White House says, because I truly fear that Russia or maybe even China could be involved in this. I think that they're letting us know that what's happening is about to escalate. On the actual physical war front, Poland and I believe I saw 6 or 7 other NATO countries are pushing to get peacekeepers into Ukraine. Actually, boots on the ground. Now, they're saying this would not be necessarily combat troops, but this would be peacekeepers to go in and observe things and to try to make sure that, human rights aren't being violated and be able to report back to that. The White House has stated that, we have no interest in putting our troops involved in something like this, but they haven't quite said that they are not going to support this. So this could certainly escalate things also. It does seem like that either on the face value of it, that both sides are trying to escalate things, or it's possible that one side or the other is trying to provoke through maybe false flags or something like that. Personally, like I've said all along, it doesn't really matter to me. It doesn't matter to me whether it's, an actual attack or it's a false flag attack, because either one usually end us up in the same place. So I think that as we're seeing things escalate over in Eastern Europe, and we see the possibility of us being attacked through cyber infrastructure, it's something certainly to be concerned with. Now, I'm not really going to go into, and I'm only going to say this because I know a lot of people are going to jump in and say, what about cyber polygon? Yeah, that's been something that's been, they met last year, they're scheduled to meet again this year, and basically, if you don't know what it is, it's the World Economic Forum, Interpol, and several other, NGO government, non-government entities that are, playing out these war games of basically a cyber attack and how to protect against it. And it's always interesting when they play out these little war game scenarios, when the thing that they actually played out actually happens, a short while later. The point is to all of this is that we have to completely, keep ourselves guarded. What is your plan if there's a cyber attack? You might say, well, I don't, so what if I can't get online? So what if I can't access the internet? It's not about that necessarily. What is it? What are you going to do when you can't access your money? When you can't access your bank accounts because of that? What happens when communications go down and you're not able to communicate with anyone? Do you have a means? Do you have a plan, a backup plan for that? To contact family members, to contact your spouse at work? Do you have a plan to how to get home and not be able to use communications like that? What happens if satellites go down? GPS, communications, just internet in general, and many other things are all filtered and ran through the satellites that float around in space. And there's been certainly a lot of threats against those satellites. And if they go down, it would definitely cause panic and havoc to happen here in the United States. I don't think the average person really quite grasps how much of everything is controlled and is run through the internet. They could do a cyber attack on our supply chain and food supplies. Everything from the transportation of it, the logistics of it, the growing it, the production of it, the warehousing of it, the ordering it and moving it from warehouses to stores, everything. All of that could be attacked through a cyber attack, and could cause it to collapse, go down, be stalled, slow it down. There's a lot of problems that could happen there. I mentioned, the grid, but just our infrastructure overall, water supply, water filtration and purification systems, septic and sewer systems, gas, natural gas, oil lines, all of this is all controlled by the internet. Remember, what was it, a year or so ago when there was the cyber attack on the pipeline down in the southeast? That was a cyber attack on that pipeline, and it shut it down. Now, could that pipeline been used manually? Absolutely. And in fact, they said they could. At least it had the capability of it. But the problem was, is that everyone that knew how to manually operate that pipeline was either dead or long since retired, they said, and no one actually knew how to run the pipeline manually. So look at like power stations, whether they be coal-fired or any other. Can they be operated manually? It's quite possible that they still can be operated manually, but does anyone actually know how to operate them manually? Very likely not. There have been cyber attacks happening for the last several weeks. There's reports that Microsoft in the last couple of days was breached. So this is happening, and it's been happening on a more regular basis. Is this an outside attack, or is this our own people doing this to cause all of this whole reset to further itself along? I don't know. And I'll be honest with you, I don't care, because in the end, the results are just the same for you and I. So revisit yourself and your plan. Think about it hard, about what in your life is highly dependent upon the internet working, and is it vulnerable to cyber attacks? And if that's so, then what can you do to kind of safeguard yourself from that, whether it be money or the electricity or anything else, your food. We live in a very modern age. And this kind of thing is going to continue to happen. Part of the Great Reset with the Fourth Industrial Revolution is talking about this, and how vulnerable the world is to this type of attack. And of course, their plan is to advance and evolve our infrastructure and our security and our technology to the point that this isn't any longer a threat, through AI and through all sorts of other advanced technologies that are way above my IQ. The point is this kind of stuff is not going to go away. And we need to be serious about it, because, we can talk about all we want about how we can just live off the land. And if you're completely, truly capable of that, good, you're in a good position. The vast majority of us are still working towards that, and we're not there yet. And so if something like this happens, and it could happen immediately, you have to understand that this isn't like an invasion where we can see it coming from, days and days out. This is something that could happen within a blink of an eye. You go to bed and you wake up and everything's down. You go to work and everything crashes before you get home. A lot of things can happen. And it's something that I feel that a lot of us in the preparedness community don't take as serious as we should. We focus on the dramatic things, nuclear war and EMPs and pandemics and collapsing of the food supply system. But what about major cyber attacks and cyber warfare? And if this got into a place where it became a major cyber war between all the players involved, it would be just as devastating as a physical, conventional war. And I don't think a lot of us are really prepared for that and have really wrapped our head around how bad it could be. So, folks, I encourage you to be serious about it, to evaluate your preparedness plan, evaluate your life, and how connected you are, and how much of your existence is dependent upon this cyber infrastructure. and what you can do to create backups and contingency plans if those things start to fall. Because it is very likely that the days and weeks ahead, we will see increased cyber attacks from inside or outside. It doesn't really matter. So do what you can today to get prepared. All right, folks. Thank you all for watching, and I'll catch you in the next video.